How do you know it's an attachment disturbance and not something else that's causing havoc in your life? I like to say it isn't actually rocket science, it's attachment theory. What we see, this is thanks to Mary Ainsworth going into the different homes of people that they tested with the strange situation. Particular patterns of care that children receive tend to produce different attachment strategies in the way that they operate in relationships. And then that tends to lead to patterns in the way that children explore the world. So what you really look for in identifying attachment patterning is the way that people operate in relationships, but also the way in which they explore or don't explore the world. And then that results in actually how people do in the world is one of the ways that we tend to think about it. How functional are you? How do you get by in the world? And how is that reflective of this? So in some sense, that's good news, but you could also look at it from the other side, which is that the things that happen to you in early childhood shape the way that you are, and then they unfold over the course of your lifetime in these very predictable patterns, which I would say is different than the luck of experiences of your life as they unfold. You might say, how lucky are you when you're 4 or 5 years old and you show up on the playground is the way that you are and the way that you see the world and the way that you operate, something that finds an audience that's appreciative of that, who's engaged by it, who includes you in the social hierarchy that operates even on playgrounds. So we see the interaction between caregiver and infant, the way that the caregiver shows up for the infant creates in the infant and the young child expectations of how the world will go for them. And those expectations then shape the way that we form a sense of reality. I'm always talking about this in a Buddhist frame of how we create the experience of reality. So we have the capacity to sense the object that can be sensed when there's contact. A consciousness of the sensing experience arises. So this is undifferentiated, unfixated, unattached. In the Buddhist sense of the word attached, what we really are talking about is fixating a meaning onto the sensing experience that you're having, different from what we mean by attachment theory. Once you've collected the data, and we don't do a universal survey of everything that's in front of us and then construct a version of reality that matches that. We take a highly curated selection of the things that already have meaning to us and select them from the environment and put together an experience of the environment that's based on that. So that if you find yourself in an environment that is rich with the things that you find interesting, the things that matter to you, you form a very different perception of what's happening than if you find yourself in an environment where very few of the things that you have already assigned meaning to and value to are present for you to select from. Once you've gathered that collection of mind moments, you evaluate it for urgency. And this is really a low-level brain function, the brainstem and the nervous system evaluating whether something needs urgent attention or not. Doesn't matter whether we ever get to it. And is there time for a pleasant experience? More important, for instance, to evaluate that a saber-toothed tiger is jumping out of a bush than it is that you can see a rainbow in the distance. That you need to respond to the urgent things, and they always jump to the head of the queue. And then, and all of this is unconscious in the sense that it's pre the self-witnessing experience. Then, if there's a match in the perceptual database of previously defined sense moments, then that whole thread attaches to the present moment and it rolls from ultimate reality into conceptual reality. And you inhabit this version of what's happening, which has been created in the mind.